Welcome back, it's Robert, and today I am talking about conditions in Pathscape Create and how conditions are a wonderful front end for your end customer to use, the facilities people, the teachers, the bartender, whoever that may be. And I want to show you how conditions are so much easier than doing scripting languages or programming like you might do on other show control systems. I have an example here of what it looks like in its code. It's scary stuff, and it's calling things like switch statements and cases, and then it's setting parameters and breaking out and going to different things. And this is not a friendly interface, and we were going to show you how we think conditions is a really good front end that allows a lot of permutations and combinations of many of the artistic looks that you've done in a space, filtered up to the user in a very friendly manner and thrown up on a touchscreen for them to operate in a normal fashion. So if we open up the software here, I've created a hotel lobby. You walk in here and there's a check-in, there's some washrooms, over here is a seating area for breakfast, and here's a bar, here's a kitchen, there's a big chandelier in front, there's a fireside area off to this side. And to do all of that, I've built a lot of these different looks. So I am currently simulating this project, and what I've done is I have defined some conditions that are of interest to me. Some things that will be triggered on a time clock, some things will be triggered by astronomical events like the rising and the setting of the sun, and some things will be triggered by human intervention, somebody pressing a button. So for this hotel lobby, I have got the 24-hour rhythm, which can be morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Now this will just trip over based on the schedule that I give it. There's a manual button here. Is the checkout open or close? There's an emergency if somebody wanted to put the whole building into white, and I'll demonstrate this in a second. Is there entertainment in the bar, and what season are we in? So I've already programmed up the looks here. I've split the whole first floor into these spaces, the seating area, the check-in, the general area, the fireside. So let's turn those off because they're kind of ugly. And you can see right now there's a yellow-green thing happening on the chandelier. And if I go to summer, then it goes to this undulating effect. And if I go to autumn, it goes to the drain effect. And then if I go into the winter, then it looks like rain, little droplets of rain. Now, we could expose all of these buttons to it, or we could just let the schedule choose. There's nothing to say on the touchscreen interface you can't override things. But if you want stuff to click along interestingly, automatically or semi-automatically, conditions are the wonderful way of doing this. So let's look. Right now we're in the morning, and if we look at our seating area for the bar and the kitchen, if we go into afternoon, things pretty much stay the same, but then when we go into the evening, we turn off all the breakfast nook lights. And the bar area here, if we turn on the entertainment, it turns these back up, and then the bar starts doing some sort of chase. And the whole time over here, the check-in lights, we can say check-in is open, and they will turn on. But overnight, if the check-in counter is still open, we dim those lights way down. And if we zoom out and there's all kinds of things going on, and we go into the emergency look, everything stops the effect and we get white light everywhere. So to break this down, let's open up an incredibly simple show file. I have one light in here. I have the red, the green, the purple, a blue-yellow flash, a white, an orange, a 4-color chase, and of course, off. So the interface that I've decided to give to demonstrate this very simple example is your choice of 8 different things. The solid colors can be either on or off, and do we allow the effects, the flashy things. So simulating this project, right now I can just turn the lights on and it's going to go to wherever I was. So choice 1 was red. Let's go to choice 3. That's purple. I will turn this off, and when I turn it back on, it goes to purple. I turn it off and randomly pick another color, turn it on, it goes to orange. This is kind of fun. If I go to 7, it goes to white. Now just go with me on this for a minute. I'll show you how this all works in the background. And then if I allow the flashy things, then I get the blue-yellow effect. And if I go to 8, I get the 4-color chase. So the first thing I did is I configured my conditions. So I went into Configure Conditions, and this was originally blank. I said, let's add a new condition, and there's all kinds of things you could do. So I could build a different condition for opening times. And I can say, we are open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and on Fridays we're open until 10 p.m. And Saturdays we're open, let's say at 10 a.m. to 3:30. Sure, why not? So these would now be our opening times. I don't really want that. Let's look at the solid colors. This is one that I made up myself, and I made a set of conditions called solid colors, and I added an off, which is the default, and I added an on. I could add another one called maybe, which is a bit funny, but you can have off, on, and maybe, but I'm not going to do that. So let's just get rid of maybe. It is worth me showing how you get this default. So I select the one that I want to be the default, and I press the edit pencil button, and it is currently the default condition, so there's nothing to do. If I wanted the default to actually be on, I would select on, hit the pencil button, then there's a button there that says set as default, and now you can see that on is the default and is raised to the top of the list. So I've also made the your choice, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, very simple. And while I'm in here, I'll just show you the properties, these little check boxes here that you can play with. And then this one's also very important. What is the fade time for the lighting changes when the condition changes? So after you define your groups of conditions, then what you want to do is add a condition to a look. So now I can look at all the different spaces in the project. Now if we look back at the hotel, we have the washrooms, the desk, all these different spaces, the bar. So I can look at all of my different looks, or I can just, go into the seating area and I see that I have 3 different looks I can choose from. So back in this simple example, we only have the project space. So when does the room go red? Well, when solid colors are on and your choice is 1. Now if I just hover over solid colors, it's actually highlighting everybody who is on, and on. You can see that just when you hover over it. That's just a little hint of where else and what else is interacting with solid colors. Now if I go to green, that's choice 2 and on. And if I go to purple, that's choice 3 and 4. The blue-yellow dynamic effect is choice 7. Solid colors, it doesn't matter if they're on or off, but allow flashy things must be on. And this is interesting. If we go to white, it doesn't matter what choice you have here and what choice you have for flashy things. And the effect of that is, well, just let me demonstrate it to you. We turn on red, green. Remember, purple is both 3 and 4. 5 and 6 is orange. And if I go to 7, well, 7 brought on the white look. Now, why is that again? Let's have a look. If we go to the white look, all it cares about is that the colors are on, and it doesn't really matter what your choice is. Now, if you were on 3 or 4, it would show purple, of course. And if you were on the blue-yellow look, this wouldn't be on, this would be. So the default is when you have only solid colors on and nothing here and nothing here, it will fall back to the white look. So simulating this again, we'll go here. We have to have on to get our lights. But then if we allow flashy things, we go to this dynamic look. From there, change to our 4-color chase. And then if we turn off flashy things, we go back to white unless we choose another color. So in my opinion, that's pretty cool. There is a lot of interactions you can do. And I've been wondering how I can explain this. And if you had just one set of conditions, it's kind of like having a tube map. You can be in station 1 or you could be in station 2. You can't be in station 1 and 2 at the same time. And then if it gets even bigger, then you can go over to station 3. And this is typically set up in facilities to look like this. So the facility is either closed, it's open to the public, or it's closed, but it's opening for the cleaners at night. And they would have a whole different set of lighting looks for the cleaners. They wouldn't want all of the flashy lights. They just want white light on to do the cleaning. And then when we go to close, it goes all dark, except for maybe a couple lights so the security guards can walk around. Now that's a one-dimensional array. Now if you had a two-dimensional array, it might look like this. And you would have options red, purple, orange, blue, or 1, 2, 3, and the intersection of 2 and orange would be orange 2. You can sit quite happily on 2 and jump between red to purple to orange to blue and get different effects happening. Now that's just 2 sets of conditions, and it gets more complicated. If we had 3 sets of conditions, it can get really hairy. So you have stuff along the x-axis, stuff along the y-axis, and stuff along the z-axis. Now, if you had an exceedingly large project file with lots of different conditions and trying to get all the permutations and combinations of it, it might look like this, which is London Underground. Now, just for fun, I used AI to build me a script of what it would look like to navigate numbers 1, 2, 3, colors, red, purple, orange, blue, and transportation, car, truck, ship, bike, walk, and duck. And it's pretty easy. You just multiply 3 by 4 by 6 and you get 72. But if you had to write all the code to do that, that ends up being about 500 lines of code. And the way you would navigate through it is you would say, okay, looking at the numbers, number 1, then inside of colors, we look for 1, we go to red, and then transport, car, truck. And for each one of these things, we call a routine. So New Year's Day, Canada Day, Bastille Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, whatever it is. And you would have to go through every single permutation and combination between the 3 conditions to get that. And you can imagine then when you get to it, then you actually do what you need to do, which is turn on the looks in the washrooms, turn on the look above the desk, make sure that the fireplace is doing a nice effect, make sure that the lights are on in the kitchen and the chandelier is doing something pretty. Doing conditions, I think, is a monumental leap forward in how to program show control systems. And now that you've had a little taste of what it looks like, the next video I'm going to talk about how you can put that onto a touchscreen display to leave with your customers. So join me then.